Hi everyone, and welcome to 4-H Grillin' 101. Today we are going to be talking about the 4-H Outdoor Cooking Program. My name is Shannon McCollum and I work on our state 4-H staff, and one of my responsibilities is the 4-H presentation program. Joining me today is Jackie Helton, who is our 4-H agent in Harnett County, and Greg Honeycutt, who is the FCS agent in Harnett County. And we hope that we can share some helpful things as you help 4-Hers prepare for the outdoor cooking competition.
Yeah, one of the great things we love about this program in Harnett County, we've been teaching a summer fun program for several years. And just look at this amazing things that we get to work with the kids and teach them how to cook. And we want to make sure that they know how to prepare the food safely and also how to work with their grill safely. And in fact, Greg is our FCS agent, and he actually handles all the food safety stuff. So Greg, can you actually sort of share how we get ready to make sure the kids understand the food safety for grilling?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple of things we need to think about. We need to think how to safely prepare, as well as how to try to make it taste really good. And so we got to prep our meat and get it ready as well.
Awesome. Should we show them some of those clips of how to do that right now?
Sounds great.
Let's do it.
Raw meat can have potential pathogens that could make us sick, so it is important that we follow a couple of food safety practices to ensure that we minimize the risk of foodborne illness. First, we want to make sure that we are properly washing our hands before and after handling raw meat. Second, when working with raw meat, it is important to take steps to prevent cross-contamination. This can be done by having separate plates, utensils, and surfaces for handling and preparing raw and ready-to-eat meats. Also, be sure to wash and sanitize surfaces before and after using them to prepare your dish. It is also important that we keep meat below 41 degrees Fahrenheit until ready to prepare. This will help to keep the meats out of the temperature danger zone and slow the growth of pathogens. This can be done for outdoor cookery by transporting and holding meats in coolers with ice. The final important food safety measure we can take is to cook meats to the proper minimum internal temperature. Here featured are minimum internal temperatures for each of the outdoor cookery categories, as well as a chart that contains more different proteins that you may find yourself grilling at home. Now that we have covered food safety, it is time to get those proteins ready for the grill. Choosing the right cut of meat is very important, as not all meats are suitable for grilling. Some larger, leaner cuts of meat would be more suitable for long and slow cooking to give proper time to tenderize. With only 2 hours to prepare, it is important to make sure that you will have time to prepare and cook within that 2-hour window. Once you choose your cut of meat, the next step is to give meat flavor. This can be done with two basic techniques of creating either a marinade or a rub. Marinades are usually made up of 3 components: an acid, an oil, and herbs. The acid helps to partially denature the meat proteins, opening up tunnels in the meat structure where flavor can seep in, but marinades mostly penetrate only the surface of about 1/2 inch. These acids can be things like vinegar, citrus juices, or even citrus drinks like orange juice or citrus soda. The oil is often added to the marinades to add flavor and texture. The herbs and spices really make your flavor of your marinade unique. The meat should have time to sit in the marinade to capture all of these flavors. This can be done for as short a time as 30 minutes to an hour for thinner cuts of meat, or can be allowed to sit in the refrigerator overnight for larger cuts. Dry rubs consist of different dry spices and herbs. When using dry rubs, it is important to massage the mixture of spices and seasonings into your meat before cooking them. Because of the way that it is applied to the food surface, it packs a notable flavor punch and creates a savory crust on the meat. Rubs are more useful for larger cuts of meat, such as brisket, because of the way that the rub helps to melt internal and external fat, but it can also be used on thin cuts of meat to really create that wonderful flavor. Now that you have your meats prepared, it is time to get your grill ready. Jackie is now going to show us how to safely fire up our grill.
We're going to teach you 2 ways to light your charcoal grill, one using lighter fluid and the other using a chimney. First thing you need to do is make sure your grill is on a solid level surface away from overhangs, shrubs, and buildings. Using heavy-duty aluminum foil, cover the bottom of your grill with the shiny side facing up. This will make your cleanup after the competition much easier. Always grill outside in a well-ventilated area. Never use alcohol, gasoline, or kerosene to light your grill. Pile your charcoal in the middle of the grill in the shape of a pyramid. You need to add enough lighter fluid to soak the charcoal. Allow it to sit for a couple minutes before lighting. When using a chimney, you can use newspaper and a natural fire starter that is under the charcoal to light it. You light it through the hose on the bottom of the chimney. It will take between 20 to 40 minutes before the coals are ready to cook on. When lighting the charcoal with lighter fluid, make sure you light it from the sides and never over the top. Watch your grill and you will notice that some of the charcoal is starting to turn gray while the fire burns. The chimney should have flames at the bottom and smoke coming out of the top. If your fire stops burning, do not add more lighter fluid. The coals will continue to heat. The coals are gray and ready to spread around the grill. Using a grilling glove and long tongs, spread the coals around the grill. I recommend making a hole in the middle of the grill when spreading the charcoal so you have an area of the grill to move food that might be cooking too fast. Using your grilling glove, place the grilling grate onto your grill and let it heat up. Now we see that the flames have come to the top of our chimney. It's time to dump it out onto the grill. Using your grilling glove, grab the handle on the chimney and dump the coals in the middle of the grill and spread out like before. Add your grilling grate and let it heat up. To prevent cross-contamination, you need 2 tables. The clean table will have all of the clean utensils, plates, and tools, while our dirty table will have the items we have used or items that have not been cooked. Things cannot go from the dirty table to the clean table, except for the meat that we're going to put onto the grill. You need to make sure you have all of the needed materials for grilling with you since you'll be outdoors at a school or similar place. We have created a list of all of the supplies needed to compete in 4-H Outdoor Cookery. You can access that list and all the other tools using the link below. Using food-safe gloves and tongs for the raw meat, carefully place your meat onto the grill. If you're cooking meat with bones in it, place the bone side down on the grill first. Close the grill and let the lid help trap the heat. Steaks cook quickly, so you need to watch them closely so you do not overcook them. If you practice your grilling, you will learn about how long you need to have the meat on each side before turning, so you get the perfect grill marks and reach the minimum safe temperature. It's time to temper meat to ensure you have reached the minimum safe temperature. We recommend using long tongs to bring the meat to the edge of the grill for temping. Insert the thermometer into the center of the thickest part of the meat and check to see if you have reached the minimum safe temperature. If your meat has reached minimum safe temperature, it's time to pull your meat off and plate it. It needs to rest 5 to 10 minutes, so now is a good time to have someone let the judges know you're almost ready to present. Use the rest time to garnish your plate and select the piece of meat that looks best to present to the judges. Some judges will check the temperature of your meat when they arrive, so do not cut the meat before the judges arrive and see the finished plate. After the competition, dispose of your coals properly. There will be a metal trash can for you to dump your hot coals. You may need help from an adult, and that is fine. After dumping your coals, you need to pack up your items. Good luck. Now let's throw it back to Shannon to wrap us up.
Wow, thanks for sharing with our 4-H family today.
We're glad to do it. You know, we've been teaching the Outdoor Cookery program for several years, and it's one of our favorite programs, and we love that the kids actually learn how to cook and grill at home.
Exactly. So, as an FCS agent, I've never went with a 4-H'er through the process of a presentation. So, do you think you could share with us maybe 4 tips for outdoor cookery presentations specifically that you would give to all those 4-H'ers out there?
Ooh, that is a great question. And you know, before we went out to actually look and do the presentation, I actually took my son Ryan, and we've actually watched. And the first thing I learned, the first tip that we use all the time, is take and cook 2 pieces of meat. Because that way, if for some reason, let's say you overcook one, you still have another piece that you can present to the judges, or you know, accidents happen, you might drop one on the ground. So that's a tip we actually learned from going to see others at a district competition.
That's great. The second tip I would say is to make sure that you are focusing on the protein that you're cooking. The judges are going to be more interested in that protein that you're cooking versus the garnishes that you might add once you plate your meal?
That is a great tip. And one of the other tips too, I know Greg talked about temping the meat. One of the things that we learned from watching others at district and state competition is know when to go get the judges. So you're temping that meat and it's coming off the grill, and we know it needs to rest about 5 minutes. So what you want to do is make sure that somebody's going to get the judges so that they're coming over there. So about 5 minutes after you pulled your meat off, so they're getting your best presentation and eating the food at the hottest and the most tender.
Good. And I think lastly, I would say that make sure that you know where your meat comes from or your protein comes from, and know what cut that protein is, because the judges are going to ask you that question as they're walking around and interacting with you throughout your time cooking.
That's a great tip.
Those are some awesome tips, and I really appreciate you sharing those. And we hope that you enjoyed this video, and we hope that you got some new knowledge for your home grilling as well as your presentations. If you need some more information, we've actually included a link below that's got some more detailed information that will help you with these types of presentations. So we appreciate you joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us. And now my favorite part of Outdoor Cookery is time to eat.
Let's eat.